and welcome to Session 6 of How to Study and Better Understand the Bible. My name is Philip McCarty, and these sessions are based on how to be a Bible detective. So, in the previous 5 sessions, we've gone through the first 2 ways of studying the Bible, first 2 steps. The first one was to observe, to collect evidence, collect the clues. The second was to find meaning. And so we put the clues together, and we also used other sources other than the Bible and outside the Bible to find meaning. And now we get to the third part, which is, how does it work? This is application. Now, it is not enough to know what the Bible says. You must do what it says. This is extremely important because, as I said in the very beginning of these sessions, if you do all the work, you find the clues, you get the meaning, but you do not do what the Bible says, it's meaningless. It's like a detective figuring out who did it, but then never making the arrest. And so we need to figure out, what is the application? Now, understand, meaning is derived from what did the first people who read these passages get as meaning? Okay, what did they understand it to mean? We then take that, and now we're going to take that and go to application, even to application for us. So the first question we need to ask in applying this is, did I learn more about God or people? So the Bible it tells us about God, it tells us about people, and that includes you and me. So did I learn something new about God? Did I learn something new about people? As we answer that question, we're going to move toward application. So the second thing we need to ask then, the follow-up, is, does something need to change in my life because of what I learned? So because of what I learned about God or people, do I need to change something in my life so that I am lined up then with what I learned about God or people? James, the book of James, chapter 1, verses 22 through 25, stresses application. It says, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word but does not do what it says is like someone who looks at his face in the mirror, and after looking at himself, goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But whoever looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they have heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do. So James is stressing, do what you read, do what you learn from the Bible. And he says it's like somebody going to the mirror and their hair is all messed up, their clothes are all dirty or tattered, their face has mud on it. They smile and there's that piece of spinach left over from last night still in there. And they go, I'm okay, I'll just go on to work this way. Or I'll go on to school this way. No problem. That's not what you're supposed to do. If you see that something is wrong, if you've learned something about God or people that hits into your life that needs to be changed, you need to work at changing it. You need to brush your teeth, you need to comb your hair, change your clothes, wash your face. You need to change what you see that is wrong in your life. So as you do this, then your life does become better. James says they will be blessed in what they do. Well, your blessing comes because you're going to feel better about yourself as you do these things, as you become a better person, the person God designed you to be in the first place, which is someone who is in line with God and has a close relationship with God. Not just having a relationship with God, but being like Jesus and allowing God to work through you, live through you. And so as you apply things that you learn, you're going to become more like Jesus. So Matthew, speaking of Jesus, Matthew 7, 24 through 27, Jesus gives a parable. He has just finished up his big, long speech that we call the Sermon on the Mount that's found in chapters 5 through 7. And so his ending note and his final challenge to the people is this: therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who builds his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. All right, so Jesus is doing a parable here. Remember, we looked at parables earlier. And so what he's saying is, as you are listening to my words, as you are reading the Bible for us, you need to do what I say. You need to do what Jesus says. Those who fail to do what Jesus says, it's like their house is just crumbling. Those who do what Jesus says, their house is nice and solid, firm foundation. It's not going to move. Now, we need to notice something about this. Both these men who built houses heard what Jesus said. So it's not like one heard and the other didn't. Both of them heard what Jesus said. It's just that one chose to ignore what Jesus said and try to do things his own way. And what he did, his projects end up like my projects. They fall apart. But the other man, he did what Jesus said. He followed Jesus' instructions. And he built his house according to Jesus' instructions, the way God designed it to be built. And when he did that, there was such a firm foundation, nothing could move it. Nothing could destroy it. So Jesus says we must have application. We must do what the Bible says. So, are you ready? Ready, set, go. So you've learned a few tools and you've learned a little bit about application. So you're ready to go. You can do it on your own now. No problem. If you want to go a little deeper, there are some other books that go deeper into this and have a little more instruction than what I've been able to give you here in these sessions. One book that I've used is Searching the Scriptures by Charles Swindoll. A very good book. He does a great job of making it easy to understand. Living by the Book, which is Howard Hendricks and William Hendricks. Living by the Book is one of the standards, has been a standard for a long time. And then Gordon Fee and Douglas Stewart wrote How to Read the Bible for All It's Worth. Another excellent book and another one that's been a standard for a long time. And in fact, I think I used this when I was in college. So those are just 3 books, and there are other books out there on how to study the Bible. My suggestion would be, if you're going to go for a next level, go for Charles Swindoll's book, which is, once again, Searching the Scriptures. All right. Well, I hope you have learned something, and I hope you can take what you've learned and start studying the Bible. And once again, there are so many helps out there that if you run into a problem, start searching for helps, or go to your pastor or a youth director or a Sunday school teacher and see if you can get some help there. All right. Thank you very much for hanging in there with us, and I hope you become a great Bible detective.